Yo, this is absolutely insane and I need everyone to lock in right now. 50 Cent just broke his silence about an alleged physical confrontation with Jay-Z's crew. And when I say this is explosive, I mean this could change everything. We're not talking about Instagram trolling anymore. We're talking about an alleged jumping that happened behind closed doors. And 50 stayed completely silent until right now. The streets are buzzing. The internet is going nuclear. And if what 50 is claiming actually happened, this is the kind of story that defines an entire era. So stay locked in because you're not going to believe what Curtis Jackson just revealed. What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Before we get into what 50 just said, you need the context on why this is so wild. For months, the tension between 50 and Jay has been escalating like crazy. We had 50 threatening that Netflix documentary after the Epstein files. We had allegations Jay blocked 50 from the 2022 Super Bowl. We had 50 calling Jay the coolest punk in hip-hop, saying his Grammys only came after marrying Beyonce. This beef has been simmering for 25 years since How to Rob in 1999. But here's the thing. Despite all that history, this beef always stayed in certain lanes. Subliminals, business moves, social media. It never crossed into physical violence, until now. And look, I gotta say this up front, we're dealing with allegations. Nothing's been 100% verified, but what 50's saying has everyone asking serious questions about what really went down. Let me set the stage. Over the past month, 50's been relentless going after Jay, posting multiple times daily, clowning his appearance, comparing him to Basquiat, and calling him a gay painter. Doing podcasts calling out Jay's street cred, saying he always puts other people in front of him to fight his battles. Most importantly, threatening that Netflix documentary. Sources say Jay's team was getting increasingly frustrated. This wasn't regular beef that would blow over. This was sustained, calculated pressure designed to damage Jay's image and business relationships. Then rumors started floating that something happened. Industry people were whispering. Cryptic social media posts appeared. And 50 went quiet for 3 or 4 days, which if you follow him, that's not normal. The man posts 20 times a day. So when he went radio silent, people started speculating. Sources started leaking wild information. Claims that Jay's people approached 50 at an industry event. Some said LA, others said New York. The general story circulating was there'd been a physical altercation, and 50 was on the receiving end. Multiple people involved, not a fair one-on-one. Everyone was waiting to see how 50 would respond. Alright, so here's what 50's claiming happened. According to him, he was at a private industry gathering in LA, not a public club, one of those exclusive Hollywood parties where all the power players show up. 50 says he was there with 2 or 3 of his guys, just a regular night. Then Jay showed up with a much larger crew, at least 6 or 7 deep. 50 says the energy shifted immediately. He felt something was wrong. According to 50, he tried to keep it cordial, nodded at Jay from across the room, showing respect despite the beef. But Jay allegedly didn't return it. Instead, Jay and his crew started moving toward him in a confrontational way. Not to talk, but with clear intent. Then words were exchanged. 50's not revealing exactly what was said, but he's implying Jay confronted him about the documentary threats, the social media posts, everything. And 50, being 50, apparently told Jay to his face that everything he's been saying is true, the documentary's happening, and if Jay has a problem, they can handle it right there. That's when it allegedly got physical. And this is the key part. According to 50, it wasn't one-on-one. He's very clear about this. Jay's crew stepped in. Multiple people on him at once. He got hit from directions he wasn't expecting, pushed from behind while someone swung from the front, overwhelmed by numbers. 50 says he held his own, didn't get knocked out or seriously hurt, but the numbers game wasn't in his favor. He's calling it a jumping, not a fair fight. That distinction changes everything. 50 claims security broke it up quick, less than a minute, but the message was clear. Jay and his people were sending a warning. Real consequences for the public pressure, the documentary threats, trying to destroy someone's reputation. They were trying to intimidate him into backing off. But here's what makes this explosive. 50 doesn't respond to intimidation like normal people. When most people get jumped, they back down, get lawyers, try to de-escalate. Not 50. His whole career is built on the opposite. When someone tries to intimidate him, he goes harder. That's what he did after getting shot 9 times. So 50's not playing victim. He's flipping the narrative and using this alleged jumping as ammunition to go even harder at Jay. First, he's framing this as proof everything he's been saying is true. If Jay's willing to send people to jump him, what else is he willing to do? What else has he done we don't know about? Second, he's making it about street credibility. For someone who's supposed to be a sophisticated billionaire, Jay allegedly resorted to having people jump someone like it's 1995. 50's calling that weak and cowardly. Third, and this has everyone's attention, 50 says the documentary's definitely happening now, and this incident will be in it. He's saying Netflix is even more interested because this adds another explosive layer. It's not just historical beef anymore. It's an active conflict, escalating to real violence in real time. Sources say 50's been documenting everything. Text messages saved, witnesses ready, possibly security footage from the venue. He's treating this like a legal case, building evidence to prove his story with receipts. The reaction's been explosive and divided. One side completely believes 50. They're saying this is exactly what Jay would do, operating through others, bringing up old stories about Jay having people handle his problems, using business power to hurt careers. They're rallying behind 50 hard, calling him brave, saying Jay just proved everything. The other side's skeptical, pointing out 50's history of exaggerating for publicity, asking why there's no video in 2026 when everyone has cameras, why no independent witnesses came forward, why 50 waited days to address it. There's a middle group who thinks something happened, but the truth's probably between the extremes. Maybe a confrontation, heated words, a push or single punch, but a full, coordinated jumping? Or is 50 exaggerating for documentary hype? What's interesting is industry silence. Jay's camp hasn't issued any statement, hasn't denied anything. That silence is making people think there might be truth here. We're at a turning point. If this crossed into physical violence, we're in completely different territory. This has consequences beyond just them. Potential legal issues if 50 has evidence and presses charges. Industry relationships destroyed because people have to choose sides. Possibility of further violence because 50's made clear he's not backing down. Jay has so much to lose. He's a billionaire with partnerships across everything. If this gains traction, if people believe Jay was involved in a physical attack, corporate partners get nervous. The NFL doesn't want this publicity. But for 50, this is almost perfect business-wise. Every escalation makes his documentary more valuable. Netflix will pay more for a story with recent violence than historical beef. 50 knows this, and he's leveraging everything. Now here's where things get even messier, and why Jay might have really snapped on 50. Because it's not just about the documentary threats or the Epstein files stuff. 50's been going at Beyonce too, and bro, that's crossing a line that nobody in the industry dares to cross. Like, you can talk about Jay all you want, but the second you mention Beyonce's name, that's when things get real. Over the past few months, 50's been dropping some absolutely wild accusations about Beyonce and how the award system works. He's been saying that Jay's Grammy success, all those trophies he's won, isn't really about his music, it's about who he married. 50 literally said, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that marriage contract, he got trophies. Trophies came rolling in, buddy. Like, he's straight up implying that Jay's accolades are because of Beyonce's influence, not his talent. And it gets worse. 50's been suggesting that the whole award system is rigged in favor of Jay and Beyonce. He's pointing out how Jay went from having 4 Grammys before Beyonce to 25 Grammys total, with 21 of them coming after they got together. He's saying the Recording Academy treats them differently because they're not seen as street rappers anymore. They're seen as this power couple, this sophisticated brand that the industry wants to promote. And 50's calling that fake, calling it manufactured success that has nothing to do with the actual music. But what really might have set Jay off is 50 talking about Beyonce specifically. He's been making comments about how she's the real power in that relationship, how Jay wouldn't be where he is without her, how his whole image transformation from street dude to billionaire businessman only happened because he wifed the biggest star in the world. That's disrespectful on a whole different level. You're not just coming at Jay's career, you're coming at his marriage, his wife, the mother of his kids. And here's the thing about Jay that everyone knows. The man will tolerate a lot of shots at himself. He'll stay quiet through beef, through allegations, through people questioning his authenticity. But the second you bring Beyonce into it, that's when he moves different. That's when the corporate strategy goes out the window and Street Jay comes back out. Multiple people in the industry have said that Jay's most sensitive spot is anything involving his family, especially Beyonce. This is one of the craziest situations in hip-hop in years. 50 claiming he got jumped by Jay's crew, then using it to go harder is insane, and exactly what only 50 would do. Whether it happened exactly as described or the truth somewhere in the middle, the fact we're having this conversation shows how far this 25-year rivalry has escalated. This isn't going away. Both have too much pride and history. I'm following this closely and keeping you updated. Be sure to leave your thoughts on this situation below. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.